Today, we're going to dive into our most ancient, emotional, and honestly, our most misunderstood sense. We're talking about smell and how it's secretly piloting our inner world in ways you might not even realize. You know exactly what this is like, right? A whiff of a certain perfume instantly reminds you of a friend, or maybe the smell of sunscreen just teleports you back to a childhood vacation. A scent hits you and bam, you're flooded with an emotion or a memory, just like that. It's this powerful, almost magical connection. But here's the big question. If our sense of smell is so powerful, why have we spent the last century or so dismissing it as our most primitive, least important sense? Well, that's the mystery we're going to unravel today. Okay, let's start with what might be smell's most incredible power, its ability to act like your own personal time machine. Take the story of olfaction researcher Thomas Hummel. For him, the smell of unripe green tomatoes doesn't just smell like, well, tomatoes. He's instantly transported back to his childhood bedroom in Bavaria, where his mother used to put green tomatoes on a cupboard to ripen. He says the scent is grassy, kind of pungent, and it's always emotional. It's the perfect example of what scientists call our strongest memory teleportation device. So, if smell is this powerful, how on earth did we come to believe we're actually bad at it? Let's trace the origin of this 100-year-old myth. It all basically started with a massive game of scientific telephone. Back in 1879, a French neuroanatomist named Paul Broca called humans non-smellers. But, and this is a huge but, he was talking about our free will, our ability to ignore smells, unlike other animals. Then, his work got mistranslated into English as being about our smelling ability. And to top it off, Sigmund Freud piled on, calling smell a primitive sense. And just like that, the myth that humans are bad smellers was born. So now let's completely bust that myth by looking at the incredible biological hardware we actually have for picking up scents. The scale of our smelling equipment is just staggering. We have around 400 different kinds of olfactory receptors in our noses. You can think of them like 400 unique locks, just waiting for millions of different chemical keys to come along. And how many of those keys are out there? Well, researchers estimate there are about 5.8 million different molecules on Earth that our noses could potentially detect. That's a massive chemical universe that we are perfectly built to explore. Okay, so if we're so well equipped, why do we think we're so bad at this? Well, a big part of it is language. We just don't have a great vocabulary for smell. Think about it. If I ask you to describe the smell of a pineapple, you'd probably just say, it smells like a pineapple. We tie the scent to the source, and that reveals something really crucial about how we perceive smells. This whole personal connection thing is shown perfectly in a study on a molecule called benzyl acetate. When they asked people what it smelled like, one big group said nail polish remover. Another big group said banana or fruit. So, who's right? The answer is, they both are. As researcher Antoni Bierling puts it, we get to know a molecule in a certain context. Turns out, benzyl acetate is found in both nail polish remover and in bananas. So your own personal experience literally shapes what you smell. There's no single correct answer here. And now for what is, I think, the most fascinating part of this whole story, where that scent signal actually goes once it's in our nose, and why that specific path makes it so uniquely powerful. So let's follow the signal. When scent molecules hit our receptors, the signal shoots up to the olfactory bulb for a quick analysis. But from there, it gets to take a special express lane. It travels directly to the amygdala, that's our brain's emotion center, and the hippocampus, our memory hub. This direct route is a huge deal. All our other major senses, sight, sound, touch, they all have to stop at a relay station in the brain called the thalamus first. But smell gets a direct, unfiltered VIP pass straight to the parts of our brain that handle deep emotion and long-term memory. And that's why a single scent can trigger such a vivid, instant reaction. And you know what? It gets even wilder. Recent research has uncovered something called concept neurons in the part of the brain that handles smell, the piriform cortex. Now get this, the very same neuron in your brain that fires when you smell a rose also fires when you see a picture of a rose or even when you just read the word rose. Let that sink in for a second. This neuron isn't just responding to a smell, it's responding to the abstract idea of a rose, no matter how you encounter it. This suggests our brain is integrating our senses at this deep conceptual level, creating a rich understanding of the world. Smell isn't just a sense, It's fundamental to how we form concepts. So let's put all this together. Far from being our weakest sense, our sense of smell is actually a totally underrated superpower. You think humans are bad smellers compared to dogs? It's not that simple. We're just specialists. Believe it or not, we are more sensitive than dogs to certain fruity and flowery scents. Dogs, on the other hand, are way better at picking up the fatty acids in body odor. As one researcher, John McGann, perfectly put it, you'd want a human to help you pick out a good wine, but you'd want a dog to find a body in the woods. And this superpower is absolutely critical to our daily lives, often in ways we just take for granted. It's our first line of defense, right? Warning us of dangers like a gas leak or spoiled food. It's also the secret ingredient to taste. Most of what we think of as flavor is actually smell. And it plays this really subtle but powerful role in forging our social bonds with the people we care about. You can really feel the profound importance of this sense when you hear from those who've lost it. Thomas Hummel, the same researcher from our tomato story, works with patients who can no longer smell. They feel deeply disconnected from the world. He describes their loss like this: "I know the memory is there, but I don't have the key to open it anymore." So what's next? Well, researchers are now working on creating a digital nose. Just imagine a device that could detect the tiny molecules evaporating off our skin to diagnose diseases at their earliest stages. That's not science fiction, that's the real future of olfaction research. So, let's redefine olfaction, shall we? It's not just some primitive leftover, it's our most ancient sense. It is our direct line to emotion and memory, and our deeply personal and, totally misunderstood connection to the entire world around us. Which leaves us with one final thought. The next time you walk outside, just take a deep breath. Really pay attention, because you never know what story, what feeling, or what long-lost memory is waiting for you, right there in the air. Thanks for joining this explainer.